Yellowstone National Park could be sitting on a time bomb. There is a supervolcano underneath the national treasure.
The ground under Yellowstone Park is shaking a lot these days. There have been more than 1,000 earthquakes in the area, which is the most in 1 month. This hasn't happened since there was a big group of over 1,100 earthquakes before. Yellowstone National Park is a famous place to visit because of its special hot springs, geysers that shoot water into the air, and other interesting things caused by heat inside the earth. But below this nice landscape, there's a huge volcano called the Yellowstone supervolcano. And this volcano is one of the biggest active volcanoes on Earth. It has erupted 3 times in the last 2.1 million years, and each time it erupted, it was way more powerful than a normal volcano. The last eruption happened around 640,000 years ago. It was so strong that it shot out over 240 cubic miles of rock, ash, and volcanic gases. This made the whole planet cooler for a while and caused problems for plants and animals everywhere. Scientists are worried that Yellowstone might erupt again. Lately, there have been more earthquakes in the area. If Yellowstone erupts, it would be very bad. The ash from the eruption would cover cities and farms, which would cause really big problems for growing food and keeping things working. The eruption could also put things in the air that make the earth colder, and this would change the weather for a long time. Not only would an eruption be bad right away, but it would also cause problems that last a long time. The ash could make water dirty and hard to drink. The stuff in the air could hurt plants and trees, making it hard to find enough food. This would cost a lot of money too, because businesses would have to close and people might have to leave their homes. A group called the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, or YVO, keeps a close watch on the Yellowstone supervolcano. This group is made up of people from the U.S. Geological Survey, the University of Wyoming, and the National Park Service. The YVO's job is to check if the supervolcano is showing any signs of getting active, like if there are earthquakes, the ground is moving in strange ways, or the water in the hot springs is changing. They want to know if something might be happening inside the volcano. They also have a plan ready in case the supervolcano erupts. This plan is about keeping people safe. It includes moving people away from the dangerous area, giving them food and clean water, and helping anyone who might be hurt. If the Yellowstone supervolcano were to erupt, there would be even more things to worry about. The ash that comes out of the volcano could cover the sky, making the whole world colder. This could cause a big drop in temperatures everywhere. The eruption might also make the ground shake a lot and cause big chunks of land to slide down, which could be really dangerous for the areas nearby. The ash wouldn't just be in the air. It also could get into the air we breathe and the water we use. Breathing in this ash would make people sick, and the water might not be safe to drink. On top of that, important things like power lines and roads could get broken by the eruption, which would make it hard for people to get around and have electricity. So there's a lot to think about when it comes to a Yellowstone eruption, and it's not just the eruption itself that could cause problems. Recent studies have found something interesting about Yellowstone National Park's big volcano. It turns out that there are not just 1, but 2 pools of melted rock called magma chambers underneath the park. The first chamber was discovered a while ago, and it's about 10 kilometers under the ground. The second one is even deeper, around 20 to 50 kilometers down. The second chamber is much bigger. It can hold a lot more melted rock than the first one. This discovery is important because it means the shallow magma chamber can keep getting filled up with melted rock over and over again. And this helps power the park's hot springs and geysers. But it also means there's more melted rock under Yellowstone than we thought before, which might make the chance of a volcano erupting a bit higher. In 2023, there were lots of earthquakes in Yellowstone in a short time. This is called a seismic swarm. It happened in March and lasted for about 12 hours. During that time, there were around 60 earthquakes, with some being stronger than others. Experts think this was because the melted rock under the park was moving around. While earthquakes there are not rare, this swarm was bigger than usual. If the Yellowstone volcano were to erupt, it would be really bad. The area around the park would be destroyed by lava, ashes, and fast-moving clouds of hot stuff. The ashes could spread really far and make it hard for planes to fly and for plants to grow. It might even change the weather around the world and make it tough to grow enough food. Right now, the chances of the volcano erupting are not very high, but because of the recent swarm of earthquakes, scientists are paying even closer attention and trying to learn more about what might happen. A Yellowstone eruption would cause a lot of harm to people. The area around the park is visited by many tourists, and there are towns nearby that would be in danger. Getting everyone to safety would be very hard, and sadly, many people might not survive. If a huge eruption happened, it could affect a big part of the United States. Ash would cover a lot of land, even far from Yellowstone. Places like Missouri and Texas could end up with more than 10 centimeters of ash, while areas closer might get buried under several meters of it. This ash would hurt farming and buildings, and it would make the air and water dirty and unhealthy. Not only would this be bad for people, but it would also mess up the whole planet's climate. The stuff from the eruption would make the Earth colder by blocking the sun. It could be like a volcanic winter that lasts for years, messing up weather and making it hard to grow food. Yellowstone is a complicated place, geologically speaking. It's sitting on a spot where melted rock comes up from deep inside the Earth. This makes the park's special features like geysers, but it also means there's a risk of a big eruption. The chance of a big eruption is low, but it's not impossible. Scientists are watching closely and learning more about the risks. To be safer, we can make better plans to warn and move people if needed. We can also invent things like filters to clean the air after an eruption. The future of Yellowstone is unsure, but if we understand and plan for the risks, we can try to keep ourselves and our community safe from a possible eruption. Yellowstone National Park is a place where the ground is always moving because of its active geology. This movement can cause dangers like hydrothermal explosions, which happen when hot water turns into steam suddenly and makes a big explosion. These explosions can hurt people and even kill them. Another danger is landslides, where the ground falls down suddenly because it's not stable. This can block roads and paths and be risky for hikers and drivers. A long time ago, there was a really big earthquake near Yellowstone that caused huge landslides and even changed some of the park's hot springs. The earthquake made geysers that had been quiet for a while start erupting, and it changed how others worked. Lately, there have been strange things happening with animals in Yellowstone. Some people have had dangerous encounters with bison, and there have been sad incidents with bears. We don't know for sure, but some experts think the animals might be feeling the ground moving in ways we can't. They've been living here for a very long time, so they might know things we don't. Just to give you some more info, hydrothermal explosions happen when hot water turns into steam suddenly and causes a big explosion. Landslides occur when the ground falls suddenly because it's not stable. And when it comes to animals, Yellowstone has a lot of them. As we mentioned, like bison and bears, just to name a few. And they can be dangerous if they feel threatened. These are big animals. So it's important to be careful and know what to do if you encounter them. Yellowstone is a place where the ground moves a lot because of all of its active geology. And this can cause dangers like explosions from hot water and big pieces of land falling down. These explosions can hurt people, and falling land can block roads and paths and be risky for hikers and drivers. A while ago, there was a really big earthquake near Yellowstone. It made big pieces of land fall and even changed how some of the park's special features worked. Some hot springs that had been quiet for a long time suddenly started erupting, and others changed how they acted. Lately, there have been some strange things happening with animals in Yellowstone. Some people have had dangerous meetings with bison, and there have been some dangerous situations with bears as well. Thanks for spending time out of your busy day with us today, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Always stay curious, and thanks for watching.